Why spend over $30,000 on a cruiser when Japanese brands are building bikes that ride better, last longer, and cost a third of the price? From stripped-down bobbers to full touring baggers, these machines beat Harley in every way. And the #1 bike is even better than the Harley Davidson Street Glide for 1/3 of the price. Number 7. Honda Shadow Phantom. Some motorcycles are built to impress at the stoplight. Others are made to stay with you for life. The Shadow Phantom is the latter. This is a no-frills, high-loyalty cruiser that delivers real-world comfort, low-end torque, and a timeless silhouette that refuses to go out of style. It runs on a liquid-cooled V-twin engine, displacing 745 cubic centimeters, producing 45 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque. Braking is managed by a single front disc and a rear disc brake. Suspension includes a set of 41mm front forks with 4.6 inches of travel, paired with dual rear shocks offering 3.5 inches of travel. Wet weight comes in at 549 pounds, with a low seat height of 25.8 inches. The starting price is $8,399. What makes the Shadow Phantom so appealing isn't flash, it's feel. The ride is soft without being sloppy, stable without being stiff. It doesn't overwhelm the rider with bulk or heat like some air-cooled cruisers, and it never tries to be something it's not. The bike's low-slung frame, forward-mounted foot controls, and slightly pulled-back handlebars provide a natural posture for riders of nearly any size. You sit in the bike, not on top of it, and that makes a world of difference during longer rides or tight city navigation. Where some cruisers feel like a burden at parking lot speeds, the Shadow Phantom feels like second nature. Thanks to its low weight and excellent balance, slow maneuvers are smooth and intuitive. That makes it a top choice not only for new riders, but also for seasoned ones who want a bike that feels easy without giving up character. Older riders returning to motorcycles after a long break often cite the Shadow as the bike that gave them their confidence back. Its appearance is equally intentional. Matte finishes, blacked out engine components, and a sleek teardrop tank give the Phantom a purpose-built look. It takes obvious inspiration from classic American V-twins, but with a more reserved and practical edge. The staggered exhaust pipes are tuned for a deep, mellow growl that adds presence without ever being obnoxious. It's not a bike that needs to shout, it just is, and that's why so many riders trust it. From a maintenance perspective, this is a machine built to run. Liquid cooling keeps engine temperatures consistent, even during stop-and-go traffic or hot weather rides. The fuel injection system means no fussing with cold starts, no stalling at idle, and no outdated carburetor tuning. Riders who have dealt with older cruisers often comment on how low maintenance and drama-free this platform really is. Oil changes and tire checks, nothing more. It's designed to give you the ride, not the repair bills. When compared to something like the 883, the Phantom holds its own and then some. It might not have the nameplate, but it wins where it matters: rideability, balance, and value. While the 883 often commands a premium due to the badge, the Shadow Phantom gives you better cooling, a more forgiving suspension, and the kind of riding posture you can enjoy for hours. It's not a performance monster or a technological marvel, but it is consistent, comfortable, and ready to ride whenever you are. The next bike on this list proves that looking custom doesn't mean paying custom shop prices. What do you ride and where do you take it? Drop it in the comments. We want to see your setup. And if you're feeling the video, hit that like and subscribe. Number 6, Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Custom. There are few things more satisfying than a motorcycle that looks like it rolled out of a custom garage, but didn't come with a second mortgage. That's where the Vulcan 900 Custom delivers. It gives riders everything they expect from a full-size chopper-inspired cruiser. Long rake, bold styling, and true V-twin power, all without the price tag that usually follows. This bike is powered by a liquid-cooled V-twin engine displacing 900 cubic centimeters, producing 50 horsepower and 58 pound-feet of torque. Braking is managed by a single front disc measuring with twin piston calipers and a rear disc. Suspension includes a 41mm front telescopic fork with nearly 6 inches of travel and a rear unitrack setup designed for comfort and control. Wet weight sits at 573 pounds with a low seat height of 27 inches. Starting price is $9,499. The Vulcan's design speaks to a rider who wants custom looks with showroom dependability. From its large 21-inch front wheel to the stretched front forks and wide rear tire, this motorcycle delivers a visual profile most often seen on expensive one-off builds. The minimalist fenders, sculpted fuel tank, and staggered dual exhaust complete the hot rod aesthetic, while subtle blacked-out details add modern attitude. There's no overuse of chrome or flashy badging, just a clean, aggressive stance that stands apart on the road. But this bike isn't just for show. The power delivery is smooth and consistent, making it ideal for both city rides and highway stretches. Thanks to its fuel injection system, there's no hesitation limitation in throttle response, and no need to fiddle with tuning. The engine's low-end torque comes in early and strong, making starts feel confident and passing on two-lane roads effortless. Unlike some air-cooled models that struggle in warmer climates or stop-and-go traffic, this liquid-cooled platform stays calm and composed no matter the conditions. What sets the Vulcan apart from similar cruisers is its comfort during longer rides. Forward-mounted foot controls create a relaxed, stretched-out riding position that lets you lean back and enjoy the open road. Combined with its well-cushioned seat and neutral handlebar reach, the bike feels planted without being rigid. Suspension tuning strikes a balance between soaking up road imperfections and offering enough feedback to stay connected with the pavement. Whether you're cruising solo on winding back roads or covering hundreds of miles in a weekend, the Vulcan stays comfortable and sure-footed. Maintenance is another area where this cruiser wins. It uses a belt drive system rather than a chain, which reduces noise, eliminates frequent adjustments, and improves long-term durability. Riders who have spent years lubricating chains or tightening slack will appreciate how low maintenance the Vulcan really is. Combined with its excellent reliability track record, this is a motorcycle you can count on to run strong for years without becoming a garage queen. Compared to Harley's Softail Standard or lowrider models, the Vulcan offers nearly identical visual presence and riding posture, but at nearly half the cost. Riders get the same long wheelbase cruiser feel, the same commanding silhouette, and the same weekend escape energy. What they don't get is the inflated price, the vibration at idle, or the added weight that can make parking lot turns feel like work. It's cruiser confidence without cruiser compromise. The next motorcycle on this list offers a completely different approach, sleek, minimalist, and built for riders who care more about smooth control than raw aggression. Need reliable gear that matches bikes like these? We listed the best helmets, gloves, and tools trusted by riders. Check the links in the description below. Number 5. Honda Rebel 1100. Not every rider wants a big, bulky cruiser with tons of chrome and old-school quirks. Some just want power, refinement, and a ride that feels effortless. That's exactly what the Rebel 1100 delivers. It offers the muscle and road presence of a heavyweight cruiser with the ease, comfort, and precision that Honda engineers are known for. Beneath its minimalist exterior lies a liquid-cooled parallel twin engine displacing 1,084 cubic centimeters, producing 86 horsepower and 72 pound-feet of torque braking, is handled by a front disc and a rear disc, both equipped with a full anti-lock braking system. Suspension includes 43mm front inverted forks and rear twin shocks with piggyback reservoirs. Wet weight is 487 pounds, and the seat height comes in at 27.5 inches. The starting price is $9,599. On first glance, the Rebel doesn't scream power. It's stripped down and blacked out, with minimal bodywork and clean lines. But that's part of the genius. This bike was built to feel modern, tight, and responsive, without trying to prove anything. And once you roll on the throttle, it becomes clear this machine is hiding serious strength. That engine is borrowed from Honda's legendary Africa Twin, detuned for cruiser use, but still a monster when called upon. It revs quickly, pulls hard, and doesn't struggle under load or at speed. This isn't a lazy V-twin, it's a performance platform. But power alone isn't what sets the Rebel apart, it's the riding experience. This bike comes standard with selectable ride modes, standard, sport, and rain, allowing the rider to tailor throttle response, engine braking, and traction control with the press of a button. Most cruisers at this price point, and many priced much higher, can't match this level of adaptability. Whether you're rolling through wet streets or ripping along open roads, the Rebel adjusts to your needs, not the other way around. Riders who want even more simplicity can opt for Honda's automatic dual-clutch transmission. That's right, no clutch lever, no shifting, just twist and go. For older riders dealing with joint issues or anyone looking for a smooth, fatigue-free ride, this feature changes everything. Of course, a traditional 6-speed manual is also available for those who prefer more control. Either way, you get a refined drivetrain that's unmatched in this category. Despite its performance edge, the Rebel is incredibly approachable. Its low seat height and light weight make it easy to maneuver, whether in tight traffic or during slow-speed turns. New riders feel confident on it, while experienced riders appreciate how agile and composed it stays even when pushed. The riding position is neutral and relaxed, with mid-mounted pegs and slightly raised handlebars, offering a comfortable reach without sacrificing feel. Aesthetically, the Rebel is all about controlled aggression. It doesn't copy old-school design cues, but it still feels grounded in cruiser tradition. There's no chrome or flashy badging, just clean surfaces, exposed frame sections, sections, and a muscular stance that looks fast even at a standstill. The blacked-out engine, short fenders, and minimalist LED lighting keep things sleek and modern without losing identity. If smart tech and subtle aggression are your style, get ready. The next bike on our list brings a dose of old-school attitude with full custom flair right from the factory. Number 4, Suzuki Boulevard C50. There are some bikes that bring back the golden age of cruising: wide fenders, deep seats, sweeping lines, but without dragging outdated technology or oversized price tags along for the ride. That's what makes the Boulevard C50 such a rare gem. Beneath its classic exterior is a liquid-cooled V-twin engine displacing 805 cubic centimeters, producing 53 horsepower and 53 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by a disc brake and a rear drum brake. The suspension includes telescopic front forks and a link-type rear suspension tuned for comfort. Wet weight comes in at 611 pounds, and the seat height is 27 inches. The starting price is $9,299. This bike was built for the rider who values comfort, timeless style, and peace of mind. From the wide handlebars and low-slung silhouette to the deep sculpted seat and sculpted tank, the Boulevard C50 looks like it belongs on a postcard from the 1950s. But don't let the chrome and curves fool you. This is modern engineering wrapped in vintage skin. The fuel-injected system makes sure starts are smooth and throttle response is clean in every condition. Unlike older cruisers that struggle with elevation, humidity, or cold mornings, this bike fires up with confidence every single time. The Boulevard's shaft drive system is a major reason riders stick with it for the long haul. It requires almost no maintenance, delivers smooth, consistent torque, and eliminates the noise, mess, and upkeep of a traditional chain. Riders who have spent years oiling chains or adjusting belts will appreciate the no-fuss simplicity of this setup. Whether commuting during the week or touring on weekends, this is the kind of drivetrain that lets you focus on the ride, not the wrench. Ergonomics are another strong suit. The wide saddle gives solid lower back support, and the seat height allows riders of all sizes to flat-foot its stops with ease. This is a particularly welcoming trait for shorter or older riders who may feel less stable on taller, top-heavy machines. Combined with mid-mounted controls and easy-reach handlebars, the Boulevard offers a neutral posture that suits everything from a quick lunch run to a 500-mile day. While it leans classic in styling, the ride feel is surprisingly refined. Suspension tuning is soft without being floaty, and it handles highway expansion joints or city potholes with composure. The bike stays planted in corners and feels confident at all legal speeds. Riders coming from older Softails or early model Dynas often note how much smoother and more manageable the Boulevard feels, especially when riding two-up. On the braking front, things are simple but sufficient. The single front disc provides predictable stopping power, while the rear drum keeps costs down and contributes to the old-school aesthetic. It's not a cutting-edge braking system, but for the Boulevard's size and intent, it gets the job done reliably. The overall package is well-balanced, and that balance is what keeps riders coming back. In terms of value, this bike punches far above its price point. Compared to something like the Softail Standard, you are getting nearly identical size, classic styling, and long-haul ride quality, but for a fraction of the cost. For the mature rider who wants to avoid badge premiums and dealer markups, this cruiser delivers the soul of a Harley without the headaches or financial strain. If you thought that kind of comfort came at the cost of performance, think again. The next bike on our list is fast, bold, and unrelentingly powerful. Number 3, Yamaha Bolt RSpec. Some bikes don't ask for permission. They just show up with attitude, power, and a raw edge that speaks directly to the rider. That's the Bolt RSpec. This is the modern bobber that brings stripped-down muscle and street cruiser styling into a package that's lighter, sharper, and more reliable than anything in its class. Under the tank is an air-cooled V-twin engine displacing 942 cubic centimeters, producing 65 horsepower and 59 pound-feet of torque. Braking is handled by a front disc and rear disc. Suspension includes traditional telescopic front forks and dual rear shocks with piggyback reservoirs for improved damping. Wet weight comes in at 542 pounds, and the seat height sits at 27.2 inches. The starting price is $8,899. Where this bike wins riders over is its simplicity. There are no unnecessary frills or distractions, just blacked-out finishes, a low stance, and the kind of sound that lets everyone know you've arrived. The Bolt brings a minimalist profile with a tight, compact frame that hugs the motor and keeps the center of gravity low. A teardrop fuel tank, solo seat, and short rear fender complete the bobber-inspired design that harks back to post-war American iron, but with modern execution. That combination of old-school look and new-school performance is what makes the Bolt such a favorite among seasoned riders. The engine comes alive off the line with strong torque, making it perfect for city riding or quick getaways. It revs freely and pulls hard up to highway speeds. And unlike older carbureted bikes, the fuel injection system delivers crisp, immediate throttle response with no hesitation or sputter. It gives you the feel of a classic cruiser without the hassle of tuning, warming up, or hunting for choke levers. Another area where the Bolt stands tall is handling. While most Harleys in this category feel top-heavy or sluggish in slow corners, this machine stays light and planted. It's a favorite for urban riding because of its responsiveness and confidence at lower speeds. In tight traffic, in and out of parking spaces, or turning through intersections, the Bolt feels more like a mid-sized sport bike than a cruiser. That lightweight feel paired with solid brakes gives you more control and less stress. Comfort-wise, this motorcycle walks the line between aggressive and relaxed. The mid-mounted foot controls and drag-style handlebars create a slightly forward-leaning riding position that's more engaging than laid back. It's not a recliner on wheels, but that's the point. This bike is built to connect the rider to the road. For anyone who enjoys active riding or just wants more input from the machine beneath them, the Bolt delivers. Its ride quality is sharper than most cruisers in this class, thanks to the rear piggyback shocks, which offer more consistent dampening than conventional setups. That translates to less bounce, better grip, and a more controlled feel over rough pavement. It's ideal for weekend rides, short commutes, or carving through town after work. If you want to add custom parts later, bar-end mirrors, low-profile seats, or blacked-out exhausts, the Bolt's aftermarket support is strong and well-earned. If the Bolt's urban aggression hits the right note, wait until you see the next machine. It's a high-performance monster hiding inside a cruiser's frame. Number 2, Yamaha VMax. Most cruisers ask you to slow down and enjoy the ride. The VMax tells you to hold on and brace for impact. This is not a relaxed highway tourer. It is a straight-line missile disguised as a muscle cruiser. Underneath its aggressive silhouette lies a liquid-cooled V4 engine, displacing 1,679 cubic centimeters, pushing out 170 horsepower and 100 pound-feet of torque. Braking is managed by dual front discs with 6-piston radial-mounted calipers and a rear disc, all tied to a full anti-lock braking system. Suspension includes 42mm front inverted forks and an adjustable rear monoshock. The wet weight comes in at 683 pounds, with a seat height of 30 inches. The starting price is $17,999. The VMax is built for one purpose: raw acceleration. When you twist the throttle, the surge of torque is instant and relentless. This is not a cruiser that lumbers away from red lights. It explodes forward, bearing speedometer needles and making sport bikes nervous. Riders familiar with big twins will find the V4 engine feels nothing like a typical V-twin. It revs fast, pulls hard from idle to redline, and does not care whether you're rolling solo or loaded for a long haul. With Yamaha's proprietary V-Boost technology enhancing power delivery at higher revolutions, the VMax delivers a riding experience that borders on brutal in the best way. Visually, it makes no apologies. Big scoops, wide tires, a sculpted tank. This is not a retro-inspired cruiser trying to look pretty. It is a street-fighting brute with the body of a heavyweight and the heart of a predator. The low, muscular stance gives it presence even when parked, and when moving, it's almost in a class of its own. There are few motorcycles on the road, cruiser or not, that match its road presence and unmistakable attitude. What's most surprising, though, is how composed it feels despite the power. Thanks to its low center of gravity and stiff aluminum frame, the VMax handles much better than most riders expect. It does not flop into corners or feel sluggish during quick transitions. For a bike of its size, it turns in sharp, holds lines with confidence, and remains stable even when pushed. That balance between brute force and precise control makes it more than just a drag strip machine. It's a performance cruiser that thrives in the real world. Comfort features are secondary on this bike, but still solid. The saddle is supportive and slightly dished, offering good lower back support for short blasts or weekend rides. The riding position is neutral with a slight forward lean, putting the rider in command without the stretched out feel of a full chopper. You won't find floorboards or oversized windshields here. This bike isn't for floating along back roads. It's for dominating them. While Harley's closest comparison might be the lowrider Saint or Breakout, neither comes close in terms of speed, power, or engineering. The VMax plays in an entirely different arena. It is the muscle car of motorcycles, loud, powerful, unapologetic, and deeply addictive. For riders who miss the thrill of raw acceleration or who want a cruiser that doesn't sacrifice intensity for image, there's simply nothing like it. We've gone deep into the specs to bring you the best options. If you're impressed, subscribe, like, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. What's your top pick? The next bike on this list slows things down, but not in a bad way. It's built for all-day comfort, long-distance control, and touring features that rival anything coming out of Milwaukee. Number 1. Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Vaquero. There is a reason touring bikes are the crown jewels of cruiser lineups. They carry the weight, the wind, the gear, and the stories of the road. But not every rider wants to spend $30,000 to chase the horizon. That is why the Vulcan 1700 Vaquero stands as one of the smartest and most complete baggers on the road today. At its core is a liquid-cooled V-twin engine displacing 1,700 cubic centimeters, producing 76 horsepower and 107 pound-feet of torque. Braking is managed by dual front discs with 4 piston calipers and a rear disc brake. Suspension includes a front telescopic fork and twin air-assisted rear shocks with 4-way rebound damping. Wet weight comes in at 836 pounds and the seat height is 28.7 inches. The starting price is $18,899. The Vaquero is not trying to mimic a Harley, it is building its own legacy. The Batwing-style fairing is frame-mounted, giving better stability at highway speeds than fork-mounted alternatives. That makes a huge difference during long stretches or in heavy crosswinds. Behind the fairing is an integrated audio system, analog gauges, and a simple, functional dashboard layout that keeps distractions to a minimum while offering everything a touring rider needs. It looks refined, sounds aggressive, and feels purpose-built for long-haul comfort. Where the Vaquero truly shines is its riding posture. Floorboards are positioned perfectly for relaxed leg extension, and the handlebars sweep back to meet the rider without requiring a stretch. The 2-piece touring seat is wide, cushioned, and supportive enough for hours in the saddle without fatigue. Passenger accommodations are equally generous, with a broad pillion and well-placed grab rails. For older riders or anyone looking to cover serious miles in real comfort, this setup is hard to beat at any price. Despite its size, the Vaquero is surprisingly nimble. The low center of gravity and smart weight distribution make it manageable at slow speeds, in parking lots, or navigating tight turns. Riders coming off heavier, touring models from Milwaukee often report being surprised at how light the Vaquero feels once in motion, and that control breeds confidence, especially when fully loaded with luggage, gear, or a passenger. Speaking of luggage, the hard saddlebags are seamlessly integrated into the bike's bodywork. They offer ample storage for weekend trips or long-distance adventures, with waterproof construction and lockable lids for added security. Unlike many aftermarket options, these bags are built to match the bike's lines perfectly. No rattles, no bulges, and no need for upgrades. In terms of performance, the Vaquero keeps things smooth and consistent. The 5-speed transmission is geared for highway use, offering low-rev cruising at interstate speeds. The torque curve is flat and usable, making overtaking easy and hill climbs effortless. And thanks to the belt drive system, power delivery remains quiet and low maintenance over the long term. It is the kind of bike that wins over riders mile by mile, not with hype, but with performance, reliability, and comfort. For those who still believe that the road matters more than the logo on the tank, this is the machine that proves you can ride farther, better, and longer without draining your bank account. That's a wrap on today's list. Like, if you agree these bikes deliver serious value and subscribe for more comparisons, comment below with your top choice. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.